All right, everybody, I am here with another episode of Chamber Chat. I've got two special guests in the car today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and we'll kick it off from there.
Hi, my name is Erin, Burt, and I'm with Nova Dynamics, and this is Dax.
So I've done some strange interviews. I've never had a robot in the car. So for those people that are watching this, what's Dax all about?
So Dax is a semi-autonomous service robot. So he can do things for people semi-autonomously with a monitor, an operator monitoring him. And he can deliver things like mail, he can deliver food, medicine, library books, and he can help out around an office or a community in whatever way people want to.
And he's got different expressions, right,
Yes.
Dax? You got different things you can do with eyes. Yeah, he can say yes and no and right. Is that right?
Yes, we designed Dax to be interactive in a way that other delivery robots are not so far. So he has 6 different expressions, and he can use his head to emulate body language, and he interacts with people much like a dog or a toddler would.
So we talked a bit. We did a little bit of prep work to see if Dax could fit in the car, which obviously he can. We did a little meeting beforehand. Why not just put voice on him?
Voice presents a lot of different challenges. One is an effect that you don't want when working with robotics, which is called the uncanny valley. And the uncanny valley is anytime a robot that is simulating human interaction drops its human interaction. So it could be that the reaction time is too fast or too slow, or that it does something that a human would not. One of the things we did with Dax was make him blink every 8 seconds, because humans blink every 8 seconds. So that's a way that we are suspending the uncanny valley. So speech presents a lot of problems because you could say something out of context or misunderstand people, and then you're having an experience like you might have with Siri or Alexa, where you say one thing and you're expecting a different response,
Sure.
and you don't get the response intended, and so you become acutely aware that you're dealing with a robot and not something that understands you.
And it was kind of interesting the way you explained it last time was where you equated it to a dog or a toddler. Obviously a little bit more advanced than that, but it's that sort of, it's the lack of speech that allows people to interact with Dax differently as well.
Yeah, you can tell that he understands you even though he's not able to speak, and we have those kinds of interactions all the time with other things that don't necessarily speak to us.
So, and he's got the different eyes, or he's looking at you, giving you the eyeballs now. So he's got different expressions, right? Can we bust through them?
Sure. So these are his neutral eyes. These are his happy eyes. Then he's got kind of confused eyes. These are his sleepy eyes. And there's his heart eyes. And then angry eyes, which we don't anticipate in using much.
Those are his angry eyes?
Yeah.
Man.
Everybody's got to have angry eyes.
Oh yeah, exactly. So we should explain the 2 little cameras, or are they both cameras
Yes.
below?
Yeah.
So how does Dax? How is he controlled? How does that all work?
So he's controlled, when he's in a delivery capacity, he'll be controlled by line following, which just means that he will use a GPS command to go where he's supposed to go, and collision detection to keep from running into anything on the way there. And one operator will not be controlling him, but they'll actually be monitoring 20 different bots at the same time. So and that's where the semi-autonomous comes in. He'll be able to go to his mission alone and return, and the monitor will just be there to make sure that nothing happens along the way. Sometimes people do weird things with robots. We had a lady throw herself in front of the robot. It's on our Instagram. I dig Dax.
Give him the Instagram, because it's legit. It's weird.
And we don't know what she was expecting, but what's really interesting about that video, and what was a victory for us, was you'll see in the video there's a little green word in the corner that says autonomous. And when Dax throws up an error and says, I don't know what to do, there's a person in front of me and I can't run over it, autonomous disappears from that screen, and you can see that the driver has taken over. So that was a successful interaction to us, even though it may not have been for her. I'm not sure what she was expecting.
Yeah, why? And you have no idea why she did it, right?
No, we don't know who she is. Yeah, we have no idea. She did not provide an explanation, so yeah.
But
she
again,
also interacted without using words. She just shrugged her hands.
It was the weirdest thing. But when you one of the questions we asked last time, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. So he's delivering whatever, right? He's making a delivery. At some point, he has to cross roads. At some point, he has to, interact with anything that could come up. Just same as walking down the street. How do you cross roads?
Well, a lot of crosswalks are automated, so the signals, Corvallis is very pedestrian friendly, so a lot of those signals will rotate through without anybody ever pushing a button. And then, at signals where there is a button that you would have to push in order to get a cross signal, he would have to wait for either a gap in traffic, and that is an instance where he would flag for an operator to take over and have a human actually help him cross the street, or he might have to wait for a human to come along and push the button. But we're hoping having DACs in Philomath and in other cities eventually will also help them make the infrastructure more pedestrian friendly.
Yeah.
Because there's also humans who can't reach up and push that crosswalk button, and we may not be as aware of that. But when you have robots rolling around delivering things, it inadvertently makes the infrastructure more friendly for people who also have mobility struggles. So and a pedestrian-friendly city is a safer place to be anyway. So we hope he can improve the infrastructure for all sorts of people just by being there.
And he's fairly new conceptually, but you guys have been around for a while.
We've been around for about 5 years, yes.
Yeah, so, and you were saying he's not the first. Is he the first? He's not the last.
When we began, there were no other delivery robots in this space.
Right.
And now there are some, but none are like DACs because none of them have expressions or heads. And so he's very unique in that way. He offers an opportunity for human-robot interaction that other robots may not offer, even when he's out doing something, like delivery, which doesn't necessarily, mean that he has to have interaction with people. It'll be a nice side effect.
So, and when you talk about human interaction, one of the things you were talking about earlier was interacting with kids at school. So
yes,
he's the expression, and I when we met him last time, I even find myself doing it. He's got like a little personality. It's weird. I don't know how to describe it, but the kids gotta love him.
Oh, they do. They absolutely love him. And they accept him immediately. One little girl at an event kept throwing herself in front of him and telling all of her classmates to scoot back, and she kept saying, "Give him some personal space." So they anthropomorphize him immediately because he has a head, and because his head moves on 3 different axes, he is able to give a lot more expression. We use our heads all the time, as part of our body language.
Yeah,
since
sure.
90% of communication is nonverbal, he has the ability to communicate a lot, even though he can't talk.
So what's the obviously this is a space that is growing, not just here, not just with DACs, but it's growing all over the world. Mm-hmm. What's the end? I don't know, maybe the end goal. What's the goal with DACs? Where is he going eventually?
Well, we started this project with the goal of last mile delivery because that's a problem that's attempting to be solved in retail.
Sure.
But because he has
not to cut you off, last mile delivery. Can you explain what that is for those?
Yes,
maybe who
that's
don't know?
Just the idea that you want to order things and you don't want to go get them. So
super convenient. Pizza, tacos.
So companies have a real easy time getting warehouses and getting orders centralized, but then getting them from that centralized location out to the individual places where they should go has always been a problem. Mail is slow, USPS and all of these different delivery modes take time. We don't want to wait. 20 years ago, you used to wait 6 to 8 weeks for a delivery when you ordered something. I can't imagine that being acceptable today. Now it's hours,
Yeah, no kidding.
So several different companies have offered delivery options that have sped things up, and we just look at that, that's becoming the window for what's acceptable between ordering time and delivery time is just shrinking. So we started in that last mile delivery space.
Yeah.
But it became apparent that people would use him in a lot of different ways just because of our interactions with the public and people asking us, well, could he do this or could he do that? And so part of our imperative now is to build 30 of these and put them in Philomath and see what people would use this type of robot for if they had access to it at any point. People who are using delivery robots only have access to them when they order a burrito or pizza or whatever.
Yeah.
But if we put one at the library or gave one to Meals on Wheels or the fire station or the police station, what would they use them for? We've even had the counselors at Philomath High School and at CAPS at OSU ask us, hey, could this have a mental health aspect? Could there be, would it be therapeutic for someone to talk to a robot after they've been to a trauma rather than a person? So these are questions that we don't know, and frankly, no one knows, because human-robot interaction is such a burgeoning field.
Well, that's why I kind of wonder with the planning stage, I'm planning this thing out. Sorry, Dax, I mean thing, obviously, sorry.
He didn't mean it.
Planning him out. Is he a boy?
We gave him a male pronoun.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. I wonder, I mean, when I asked earlier about, what's the end game, where's this going, in a way, and there's nothing wrong with it, maybe you guys don't even know right now, right? I mean, you have a clear idea of where physically he may go and what he may do, but who knows?
Yeah, this is a bleeding edge technology.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, it's changing so fast. I just read an article yesterday that was talking about how the robotics field as a whole needs to take more cues from puppeteers and incorporate more lifelike movements, because they were talking about how robots are engineered first and then designed around it, and we took a different approach.
Yeah.
We had an artist draw us a cute robot, and then we engineered around that concept, and that ended up being a really, really an instance of foresight that we didn't realize how valuable that would be, because now Dax does have more of a human quality about him than other robots that may be out in public all the time. And what we're seeing is that in order for these kind of technologies to be more widely accepted, they do need to have more of a warm interaction with people. And so we kind of stumbled upon that, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're saying, why doesn't a Roomba breathe when it's going across the floor like a rat or a squirrel or something would? And it's creepy, but it also makes sense. So
it's when we first started talking about doing this, and I'm like, it is weird to have a robot in the car, and there's the sort of the interaction, but it's kind of weird. It's strangely comfortable. If he was just sort of a whatever, like no head robot thing, right? Sorry, dude. It would be weird, and I don't know that it's not weird, that it feels more comfortable, that he looks at you and blinks, and he has sort of... This is weird. This is the coolest, weirdest interview I've ever done for
I did notice when we did the test run, you started off saying it's weird at pretty regular intervals, and by the end you were saying this is cool.
Oh, it is. It's fascinating, and again, I think it's just that trying to conceptualize how this would be used. And actually, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you, or so we can explain to people watching. If I asked you, do you, if I'm let's say a pizza place, do I don't own or do, it's a service that's provided, so as a consumer I can call and say, or get a hold of you guys, get a hold of Dax and just say, hey, go to American Dream Pizza, pick me up a pizza and bring it to this address. Is that sort of how it works?
It would be even easier than that. We would be set up with retailers so that when you order something online, you would check a box that say deliver, just like you do deliver with a person.
Yeah, okay.
You'd deliver with the Dax. Right now, a lot of delivery modes, it ranges from like $1 to $3 for a delivery.
Yeah.
And then he comes to your door, and you would put a code into an app because his drawer is secure. And then that would prompt the drawer to open, and you would get your delivery. So it wouldn't even introduce an extra step into the process. They would have the Dax unit at their location, and then that would just be another delivery mode that they have access to. Dax would be leased as a service.
So
because there's a lot of, as you can imagine, you don't want to be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep and software updates.
So when you say, so he would show up, and again, the delivery size, it's, you guys probably can't see a ton from the camera on the lower side, but he can deliver some good sized stuff. Yeah,
his drawer is 0.5 meter square. It can hold a medium pizza and 2 drinks with room left over. An equivalent volume would be 537 ping pong balls. So,
if anyone's
to
counting,
give you an idea,
pong,
but you can fit a lot of stuff in there. He has a weight capacity of about 25 pounds with that drawer volume. Yes. Dang. So he can hold quite a bit, and he can go 20 kilometers before he needs a charge.
So and this isn't, you look at something small and cute like he is. it's not like he's going to take hours and hours and hours to get to you either. I mean, you were talking about the speed he goes as well.
Yes, he goes 8 kilometers per hour, which is a little bit faster than a human would walk on a sidewalk because we don't want him clogging up sidewalks.
Right.
So yeah, he would be. That's about how fast he goes, and because we're talking about last mile delivery, we're talking about quick trips, and there's a possibility that he could carry more than one payload per trip as well.
So, sorry, dude.
But and because the drawer is secure and we know who's entering what code, and we also know we also have cameras on him. If somebody were to take their order and another order, it'd be pretty easy to figure out who. So that's
who's stealing.
So we're not too worried about that. But with sensitive deliveries like maybe packages or or medicines or something like that, we wouldn't do that. But and we don't even know that we would do multiple deliveries per trip. It just depends. There are delivery modes that have had success with that, but I mean it's all very early days.
Yeah, well, and again, goes back to you don't really know. You've set him up in Philomath, right?
Yes.
In Corvallis at all, or?
No, we have a special agreement with the city of Philomath that allows us to operate him at any time unaccompanied, under normal conditions, whatever that is. Saying normal with a delivery robot just.
So do you need a permit to operate him?
We probably would need some sort of agreement to operate him in Corvallis, simply because Oregon doesn't have any laws regarding sidewalk robots.
Okay.
He's governed by the same rules that would apply to like a Segway or a scooter, which mandates operating in the street, and he is a pedestrian robot. So he would need to be operated, on the sidewalk and not as a vehicle. So Washington recently passed laws allowing semi-autonomous robots to operate on the sidewalks, and I don't think California has yet, but that stuff usually trickles up and down. So we're waiting to see what would happen. And when we get to that point, we may be advocating for that. But as yet, we would have to have a special agreement in any city that we operated in.
Now, one of the things we did talk about last time, which is probably at the forefront of the news, certainly from the tech perspective, when you look at things like Alexa and Siri and stuff like that, is privacy, right? So he's obviously got cameras for very good reasons all over. How does that factor into the way you design or he interacts, or
well, he doesn't have facial recognition, so he sees you and he sees me, and he knows that we are objects that are making noise.
We could be a tree.
He basically, as far as vision goes, he sees both of us as objects he doesn't want to run into. So we're no different than a tree or a chair or a dog. In the future, if we're working with police, if we're working with schools, those privacy is going to be a huge concern, and that's another area. There's about 10 areas of robotics right now that have major questions that no one has solved, and security and privacy are definitely one of them. And so that's another area that we would be happy to pioneer, just because we feel like we have good intentions in that space.
Sure.
There's lots of scary things going on in China with privacy. You jaywalk across a crosswalk and they're putting your face on a billboard. So it's very Black Mirror, and we don't want to stray into Black Mirror territory.
That's a good series too. The Black Mirror series,
especially if you work with robots.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Black Mirror, check that out. It's on like Netflix or Amazon or whatever it is. In terms of one of the other more fun things, this may also be my first world record holder.
Oh, he might be, yes.
We don't know, right?
He's completed a 5K, and he may have been the first robot to do so. But Guinness Book of World Records does not have a record for this.
Come on, Guinness.
So we paid our £6 to apply for a Guinness Book of World Record title, and we'll see if there is henceforth a record for a robot to complete a 5K.
I have never had a world record holder in the car before. You could be the first one. Heart eyes, right on. That's a good sign. So it's super weird. At the end of chamber chat, or towards the end of the chamber chat, I always do I do kind of a speed round.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a weird one. I don't know how this is going to work. You up to this? Let's see. Okay, so maybe you can answer for Dax, or answer for yourself. I don't know. This is
if they're yes or no questions, he can answer.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Well, they kind of are. But like the first one I always ask is your favorite food. I don't know what his favorite food would be.
Electricity, obviously.
Electricity? It would be good?
Yeah.
Yeah? What about somewhere you think, where would be Dax's favorite place he's ever been? Well, he hasn't been that very far.
He's been to a few places.
Yeah? Where would his favorite be?
I think he likes going to the park the most, don't you? meets a lot of people at the park, so that's
Yeah.
usually the most fun place for him to go.
Good bit of interaction.
Yes.
What about bucket list? Where would he most like to go? Where would be a great challenge for him that he hasn't been yet?
Oh, you know, he hasn't taken a flight anywhere. He hasn't flown anywhere, and we would love to fly him somewhere. We think that would be really exciting.
The TSA would love you. Could you imagine? You want to get wanted
Cavity
by the TSA?
search. Yeah.
That's right. The cavity search would be interesting for you. That is what. Concert. Favorite what type of music would he like? What type of music do you like?
I would think probably EDM. Yeah? No?
Maybe?
Maybe not. It seems like that'd be right up his alley.
Yeah.
But
Would he be more of a kind of a? Would you be more of like a smooth, kind of a quiet, relaxing music, or more of a like a mosh pit guy?
No mosh pits.
More smooth. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this is gonna be a weird one. When you were younger, right? What did you want to be when you grew up? Now, how old is Dax?
He's about 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So it took a couple of years for us to get to our first prototype.
So when Dax is 20, what's he want to be?
I think he probably wants to be a swarm.
Yeah, a whole ton of them.
Like a whole bunch. Yeah.
Just more of him. Now he does actually have does he have brothers or sisters? Or one of each or?
It would be brothers, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We will have 6 by the end of this year, and we'll have 30 by the end of next year. So we'll be in the Philomath Rodeo Parade we'll have a robot parade.
No way, really?
Yes, where we'll have all of our DAX units, and they will be operating semi-autonomously because one operator can't drive multiple units. So yes, it will be a semi-autonomous robot parade.
If he could meet somebody in history, who would it be?
Oh, in history?
Or anybody. Let's narrow it down for him a little bit. Make it easier for you.
Anybody. I think Nikola Tesla would probably be my guess.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Edison. Somebody who has to do with electricity, probably.
Yeah, that would be good. Now he runs. Will he ever get to the point where he's solar?
He will recharge with solar at some point.
Okay.
Yes, we do have that because with optimal operation would be that he doesn't come back to the lab and have a battery swap when he needs a charge.
Yeah.
And so we envision at some point in the future having solar charging pads located all over so that he could just go park for a few minutes, charge back up, and get back on the road.
Just like a regular, like a Tesla, right?
Exactly.
Go plug in somewhere.
Yeah.
And be good. This is. I'm doing the same thing. I started off weird. Now it's just cool. It's just, I don't know what it is. If you guys are watching this and they obviously got to be in Philomath. I don't want to volunteer for stuff that you can't do. But if they want to interact with Dax, is it you just come to Philomath and run into him, or how do? Because this is super cool. I mean, this is really, like you said. I trying to struggle to get my head exactly what he does, but it's just you can tell this is going to be something pretty darn big.
Yeah. We are resuming delivery. We had a closed alpha delivery program and we took it offline to improve everything.
Right.
It taught us a lot. It wasn't really a service as much as it was an experiment.
Yeah.
And so we will be going back to delivery, and so at some point you will be able to have deliveries done by Dax and Philomath. But right now, with them is check our Facebook page at iDigDax for events, and then we're hitting a lot of schools this fall.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So and in January we're going to speak to the Kiwanis. So you can have Dax come and speak to your group and learn more about robotics and where it's headed, and give us questions for what you think you might use Dax for if you had access to one. And but yeah, eventually it will be more of a but yeah, we're still doing a lot of events and just trying to.
All right, we've had to switch to camera mode because apparently as much technology as we have back here, there's nothing up front. So
it's only fitting to have battery issues when you're talking about robots.
It's crazy. So thank you so much for spending time with us. It's been awesome. If you guys need, they need to get a hold of you.
Yeah, visit daxbot.com. There's a contact us link.
Good to go. thank you for spending time with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We'll see you guys on another episode of Chamber Chat.